Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Miguel and I've been collecting for a little over 8 years. Over the years I've had several Grail watches, but one that's been consistent is the Seiko 62 MAS. Almost 2 years ago the Seiko SPB143 scratched that itch. I can confidently say that that watch is a favorite in the collection, and here is why. There's several different iterations of the SPB watch, but this in my opinion, the SPB143 is the most versatile of the bunch. I have friends that obviously own different iterations and they're beautiful, but in my opinion, this just does it for me. I think it overall, from the dimensions, the color of the dial, it just works perfectly. Now clearly it's easy to see why the SPB line has become one of the most successful for Seiko. It's a versatile watch. Yeah, it's a little over, $1,000, but you get what you pay for, and what you pay for is versatility, reliability, and a kick-ass looking watch. In fact, my video review of the SPB143 is the most watched video on both my English and Spanish channels. Collectors can't seem to get enough of this watch, and neither can I. So let's cover some of the specs. The SPB143 is fully constructed of 316L stainless steel, and it has what Seiko calls their super hard coating, which by the way really works. I've worn this watch everywhere and it hardly has any scratches. The case measures in at 40.5 millimeters. It has a 47.6 millimeter lug to lug and its 13.2 millimeter stick. Between the lugs 20 millimeters, and this particular variant has this beautiful black and gray dial with applied indices and plenty of Lumabrite. It also features a 120 click steel bezel, a sapphire crystal with AR, a water resistance of 200 meters, an unsigned screw down crown, and it features Seiko's 6R35 movement, which has 70 hours of power reserve. I mean, what else do you need in a watch? A few months ago I had the pleasure of partnering up with Namoki Mods when I reviewed their Seiko Big Crown Homage. The story with Namoki Mods is a story of two guys who love beer and watches. They began modding their own watches, and well, it was quickly apparent that there was a lack of quality resources available in the market. So Namoki Mods strongly believe in the idea of providing high quality, tastefully designed mod parts for everyone and anyone feeling adventurous enough to mod their own watch. However, I actually don't fit into that category, as I tried to mod a watch and well, I wasn't satisfied with the result. Luckily for all of us, they do provide pre-made watches. Based on my previous experience, I knew for a fact that these guys made quality parts, and the watch was a winner in my book. Okay, so I was navigating their website and saw the watch we will be taking a look at today. They call it their NMK07 Automatic Dive Watch 62 Moss Navy Blue. By the way, they also offer this in a black colorway. The watch is sub $400 and it strongly resembles, of course, the 62 Moss, but it also resembles the SPB 143. Let's quickly get into the specs of this watch. By the way, it's not often that I'm left speechless when I unbox a watch, but this watch is very good looking. The case measures in at 41 millimeters, it's 49.3 millimeters from lug to lug, it's 14.3 millimeter stick, it has a 20 millimeter lug width, and this particular variant has a beautiful blue sunburst style with applied indices and plenty of lume. It has a water resistance of 200 meters with a screw down unsigned crown, a black ceramic 120 click bezel. Protecting the dial, we do find a dome, and I mean dome, sapphire crystal with AR, and something very notable is the polished chapter ring. When the light hits that ring, man, it looks pretty. The watch comes with a reliable Seiko NH movement, and it's offered with this tropic style blue rubber strap. Honestly, if I have one criticism, it would be this. The strap is not very comfy, but luckily thanks to the 20 millimeter lug width, the possibilities with this one are endless. I told a guy over at Namoki Mods that a few of my peers have commented on how much they love the SPB143, but think the $1,200 price point is a bit high. I can honestly say that the SPB is worth every penny, but I get it, not everyone's willing to spend that much money on a Seiko. So I had an idea. Why not compare this 62 Mods Homage to my SPB and find out if it's any good, and if it's a good alternative for a fraction of the cost. I mean, after all, it does feature a Seiko movement in it already. Right off the bat, the watch is not a one-to-one copy, and I absolutely love that. This watch is paying tribute to the watch. It's not trying to be a replica of the watch. One of the biggest differences is the case dimensions. The Namoki is clearly a few millimeters bigger than the SPB. The case is not as refined, as we don't find the beveling on the edges of the case. They both feature drill holes for easy strap changes. On the dial, we do find similar hands that have that folding down the middle, but as opposed to the Seiko, they are fully polished. The polished frame around the date window really plays well with the hands and the polished chapter ring. On the dial, you will only find the Namoki Mods logo and the words Divers 200 meters. Another notable difference between these two is the bezel. I love the feel and look of the SPB as it truly evokes a real tool watch feel. I've had the opportunity to interact with many bezels, and this to me is still up there. The crisp, precise feel is up there with the big boys. The Namoki Mods bezel is very blingy and is constructed of black ceramic. The bezel action is good, but it doesn't feel as crispy as the SPB. By no means does that mean that the bezel is bad. It just has a more loose feeling to it, but certainly better than some of the microbrand watches I've reviewed in the past. In the lume department, the Namoki Mods watch really stands its ground. Although the SPB does last a little bit longer, what helps the Namoki stand out is that reflection of the lume on the polished chapter ring. They also both feature a lume pip at the 12 o'clock on the bezel. The watch is using the tried and tested Seiko NH movement. The NH movement beats at 21,600 bph. It can be hand wound and it can be hacked. It is a movement of choice for many micro brands, and that's because it's reliable. The SPB uses a superior movement, the 6R35, that beats at the same rate. It can be hand wound and hacked. However, this movement does feature 70 hours of power reserve as opposed to the 41 hours, and it does feature higher resistance to magnetism. On the wrist, they both feel very similar, but the Seiko SPB does feel a little slimmer and more compact. The Seiko only weighs in at 99 grams with this aftermarket tropic style strap. Now, the Namoki Mods does wear a little bigger and a little heavier, as it weighs in at 107 grams with this tropic strap. Honestly, they both feel great on the wrist. Now, for reference, I do have a 6 7/8 inch wrist. However, I wouldn't recommend putting the Namoki Mods watch on a NATO, as it would be a little over 15mm thick. But hey, at the end of the day, it's your watch and a matter of preference. Both of these watches are absolute strap monsters, and finding replacement straps should not be an issue due to its 20mm lug width. Okay, so how does this watch stack up to the SPB143, and is it worth the $399? Well, this watch overall is very impressive for the price, and one of the cool features is that all the parts used can be purchased separately in the Namoki Mods website, which means you can create your own iteration of this watch, or if you like this watch but you want to change a part of it, you can also do that as well. Look, the SPB is clearly the superior watch, no doubt, but you will be paying for those upgrades. This Namoki Mods watch is the perfect summer watch, and a watch that I can recommend. It's constructed very well, feels solid, and is very versatile. However, I would recommend you purchase a different strap for it, as a supplied one, as I said previously, feels pretty stiff. I'll end with this. There's something special to owning a Namoki Mods watch. The company is well known and respected within the modding community, and it is a type of watch that if you know, you know. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. And in full transparency, I do have an affiliate link with Namoki Mods. So if you end up purchasing this watch or any parts from them, I get a small commission. As you know, being a content creator is very time consuming, and there's very little revenue being generated on my end. So for the past 3 years, I have invested a lot of money and time into the channel, and honestly I do it because I love it and because I love the watch family, but I wouldn't mind being compensated from time to time. So if you're feeling generous, feel free to also help out the channel by hitting that heart shaped button that says thanks. Anyway, in no way, shape, or form am I saying that this Namoki Mods watch is superior or to the same level of the SPB. Obviously not. The SPB and Seiko have a ton of heritage, and I would honestly recommend you save up if that's the watch you want. But hey, this Namoki Mods watch is fun. I recommend it, and just have fun with watch collecting. Thank you all so much for the support, and remember to always stay humble, my friends.